Tech fragments are one of the many currencies you can earn in Star Wars: The Old Republic. They can be used to buy tactical items or upgrade your legendary implants. If you're a new player or starting a new character, you should focus on getting your tactical item as well as your legendary implants as soon as possible, because they make your character way more powerful in PvP and also PvE. And while the tactical item is relatively cheap and you don't need to upgrade them, some classes want more than one tactical item because of that, and because the legendary implants of course need to be upgraded many times until you reach the maximum item rating, you will need to farm massive amounts of tech fragments. There are many different ways to farm tech fragments, such as completing your conquest or the Galactic Starfighter, Warzone or Arena PvP weekly quests. You can also get tech fragments by converting other currencies. For example, the Spoils of War vendor on the fleet sells a bag of 200 tech fragments for 200 conquest commendations. The gear vendors will also sell bags of tech fragments for the Warzone accelerants or the OP1 catalysts or the flashpoint stabilizers respectively. But the absolute fastest way to farm tech fragments is to run story mode operations. And that is because one story mode operation gives you 2000 tech fragments, and some of them will only take about half an hour for a run. Compare that to hard mode, which nets you 2500 if you kill all the bosses, but most of them take significantly longer because the bosses have more HP and there are more mechanics, so the raid will wipe sometimes, meaning that you need multiple tries per boss. So unless you have a raid group where you know that you can easily farm in hard mode raid, story mode will be more efficient and net you more tech fragments per hour. And while master mode gives you even more tech fragments per boss, I would not even consider running those if you're still new to the game and gearing your character, since they are quite a bit more challenging. The PvP weekly also gives 2000 tech fragments, but it requires that you win at least 4 war zones, and that will take longer than 30 minutes for sure. Arenas can be faster than that, but depending on the time of the day when you play, they don't always pop instantly, so you might spend 30 minutes total just waiting in queue. And overall that means story mode operations are just more reliable. Okay, so you're going to be running story mode operations. The next question you might ask is which operations are the best ones to farm? And the two that I have found to be most efficient and that most people are running are Dread Fortress and the Dread Palace. Now you might say, but they only have 5 bosses each, whereas Scum and Villainy has 7. And yes, it's true, Scum and Villainy will give you more tech fragments per run, but the run usually takes longer because there is a lot of running around between the bosses and waiting time required for that operation. So Dread Fortress and Dread Palace are faster and will give you overall the best tech fragments per hour. Of course, if there's only a Scum and Villainy run forming, join that one instead of just standing on the fleet. This does not mean that you should only ever run Dread Fortress and Dread Palace. But they are the most efficient, so what you do is simply go to the fleet, look for a group that is forming, and join them. Or if you've done it a couple of times and you know where to go and what to do, start your own group by writing something like this in the chat. Now, of course, you can only run the same operation on one character once per week until the lockout resets again every Tuesday. But if you have more than one level 80 character, you can run the same operation on multiple characters and also complete your conquest in the process, which will net you even more tech fragments per hour. This strategy works on all classes. Story mode operations are very beginner friendly and they don't require too many mechanics, but in my experience some classes still work better than others. Some of the best classes to farm the operations are the Vengeance Juggernaut or the Vigilance Guardian, because it has the best AoE damage in the game, which makes it really easy to clear boss ads or even just the trash packs on the way. Hatred Assassin is another great class to farm. Stealth allows you to bypass some ads, and Hatred also has one of the best boss DPSs in the game. And then finally, Annihilation Marauder is another great class to farm these operations because of their solid DPS and great raid utility with Predation, which speeds up the whole group. So that's the way I farm tech fragments anytime I need them. Hopefully this guide was helpful to you. If it was, please remember to leave a like on the video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.